Alright, what's up, y'all? We're back, and I know I've been missing a lot of time recently, and I'm not even going to try to pretend that anything about it is excusable or whatever. I'm looking to make the most of what I can do here, and moving forward, that's all I'm going to aim to do. I mean, I'm not going to get too much into rambling about any of that, because this video here is going to be a little bit more extensive than normal, but not, that's a new thing. But anyway, of course, last night we had the Netflix debut of Monday Night Raw, and I gotta say, overall, it was not exactly a show that blew me away or knocked my socks off or anything like that, but it was still enjoyable. It just, you got a lot of the big stuff, like a lot of the big names, obviously The Rock, of course Cody was there, and, interestingly enough, it actually kicked off with The Rock, and he cuts a rather unexpected promo, actually, putting over both Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, which I gotta say I didn't quite expect. Of course, he talked about how Cody has carried the company for the last year and so forth, and, even talked about they've spilled each other's blood, he made him bleed, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it was all pretty cool and everything. Of course, talked about being anointed the High Chief. I'm not even going to go into the whole terminology on that because I still don't have that down yet. I'm going to need an awful lot more practice for that, but either way, it was just really cool to see. Of course, right before that, they had the cold open where, there were drapes surrounded by there were drapes surrounding the ring, and of course Trips is doing his thing with that, but to have this follow that was pretty cool. And right after that, we actually get Tribal Combat, where, of course, Roman Reigns is successful, only we didn't quite get certain things that we had expected, particularly a turn from one Paul Heyman, as you see in the middle of the picture here. And, of course, you actually have The Rock and Roman dapping it up. And even more oddly enough, Rock is the one that presents the Ula Fala and puts it around Roman's neck, which is all cool and everything, being that he's the new High Chief and all. I don't know. It's really, really odd. We didn't get any sort of progression of this particular storyline. I mean, we got everything between Solo and Roman's bloodline through all of this, but nothing as far as The Rock goes. Or speculation, excuse me, I'm not even sure how I want to go with this, that Heyman was going to turn on Roman to join The Rock. But none of that happened. I mean, we'll see if it comes down to that. I mean, it just was really, really odd, but Roman is the rightful tribal chief once again, and of course, never lost it in the first place. But anyway, that's what we got with that, and from there we would ultimately get news of the new 2K25 cover, which is going to have the aforementioned tribal chief. I gotta say, this is actually really, really cool to see. It's definitely a crowning achievement. Of course, he had a cover that he shared with Becky Lynch a few years ago. I believe it was actually WWE 2K, if I remember correctly. Yeah, because they didn't have a 2K21. And I don't remember 2K22, but either way, he's got his own solo cover, and it's really, really nice looking, I gotta say. Of course, he's in position to do his whole Superman punch thing, and his face in the far corner, and Heyman's even in it. I mean, It's just funny because I guess we're going to get a full reveal on January 25th, I believe it is, if I recall correctly. Yeah. No, January 27th, excuse me, is when we'll get the full reveal. And that'll be something to look forward to. Of course, something else to look forward to, John Cena is entering the Royal Rumble. I kind of anticipated this to be the case, and I've actually had conversations with folks. I'm thinking, why not Cena to win the Rumble? And honestly, I don't think there's any aspect of it that's a bad thing. He can challenge either Cody Rhodes or who a lot of people seem to expect to be CM Punk, which is really, really interesting. A lot of people are thinking CM Punk might actually take the World Heavyweight title off of Gunther at, I guess, the Royal Rumble or somewhere between now and WrestleMania. Don't know how that's going to be the case, but either way, we're going to see Cena enter in the Royal Rumble, go for number 17, and I gotta say, this is actually something that I feel like is fitting for the farewell tour. I feel like there are fair enough share of people who want to see him get 17. I'm not really sure how lengthy a reign it's going to be, given that it's within the calendar year and everything. Of course, the tour kicked off only last night, so it's going to be interesting. I gotta imagine it'll probably be something that he'll do winning at SummerSlam, or winning at WrestleMania, probably dropping the championship at SummerSlam, and, you know, we'll see where it goes from there. But definitely really, really cool to see Cena back and actually getting to declare his entry into the Royal Rumble. And he wouldn't be the only one, of course. Actually, to a degree, LA Knight has already, and I feel like there are a couple other ones I may or may not be forgetting, but either which way, that's what we got going on with that. And with that, we'll go ahead and close it out here with the main event, which was long-awaited contest between Seth freaking Rollins, and CM Punk. Now, to me, this literally, I felt like was ideally booked for a main event match, especially the one to kick off the Netflix era, as it was put, which is something that Triple H had mentioned. He basically declared it to be the Netflix era. Pardon me, I'm just making sure I take care of a little something here, but it was really, really cool to see everything that had happened. It was just so well done as far as move placement. I mean, obviously there was an awful lot of storytelling. You had Seth hitting multiple GTSs, which I thought was really, really wild to see. Punk would ultimately counter with at least one stomp. And yeah, I mean, it was just one of those kind of matches where I don't think too much was put into it. It was just all done correctly, you know. I feel like there's definitely going to be more of this somewhere down the line. I mean, a lot of scenarios that I could see going into Mania would have to include, obviously, Punk wanting to be in the main event, and of course, ultimately after the match, he also, much like Cena, declared for the Royal Rumble. Now, obviously to me, I think you got two of the odds-on favorites to win right there in Punk and Cena. But as far as which one of them do, still remains to be seen. I feel like you wind up seeing both go after each respective title. I don't know necessarily that you see both of them in the same match. I mean, I guess there are a few different directions you can go with this. I feel like the most likely one at this point is with Cena winning he would challenge either Cody Rhodes, or if it's Gunther still at that point, you know, that's who he goes after. And maybe Punk challenges Cody Rhodes. I mean, again, there are a few different avenues that you can travel for this, and also we got to consider the aspect of The Rock, as I'm pretty confident he, if he so chooses to, is going to challenge Cody Rhodes. I don't know that that's anything that is necessarily avoidable. I mean, we'll see. All in all, it's a pretty cool show. Other notables, of course, Chad Gable ends up challenging any luchador in Adam Pearce's office, making the declaration to Adam Pearce. And of course, we got a bit of a vignette for Penta, which I'm going to imagine that's going to be Gable's opponent, man. You know, that's going to be really, really cool to see. I think this is going to be good. Penta on Netflix. I can't wait to see how that all goes down. And ultimately, we'll have Rey Fenix following along. Obviously, Rhea Ripley winds up winning back the Women's World Championship. And of course, for whatever reason, doesn't get her pyro until The Undertaker comes out and actually acknowledges Rhea, but also it's his music. They're doing a whole, I'm pretty sure it was American Badass. I don't really remember specifically, but they do the whole fist in the air thing, and that's where we get the pyro. I don't know. I just wasn't really all that hyped for that. I get saving pyro for that moment, but I don't know. It kind of cheapened the moment for Rhea, I felt like, but it's whatever. And then, of course, what many people are talking about, the booing, the mass booing of one Hulk Hogan. I mean, it was really wild, because when we found out that there was a possibility he could end up on the show, I mean, it makes sense. He has been known to have residency out in the LA area, billed as being from Venice Beach, California, and so forth. I don't know if it was really necessary. Of course, he got to promote his Real American Beer. Don't know how many people are going to wind up going that route. I mean, I don't know. I couldn't care less. I don't do a whole lot of drinking anyway, and I can't imagine I'll even go anywhere near that shit. But nonetheless, that's pretty much everything in a nutshell. I may have left out a detail or two, but yeah, all in all, I gotta say, pretty cool. Again, didn't quite blow me away the way I would like to think. I mean, it definitely had that PLE sort of WrestleMania feel, especially being in the Intuit Dome, the first wrestling event ever to take place in the Intuit Dome, and I don't imagine it's going to be the last one, but certainly was enjoyable to see. But nonetheless, that's really all I got on that. Y'all let me know what y'all think on that. Did you enjoy the debut of Monday Night Raw on Netflix? I mean, seemed like a normal Raw, and of course the commercials were a little different, some more lengthier than necessary. I mean, really, really interesting, I guess, how that works out. But yeah, again, y'all let me know what y'all think down below. Y'all know what it is. Like, share, subscribe, and of course, I am A&J, and thank you for your time with me.